Hi, so what I'm going to do now is just check my orientations of my joints, see which angles are actually in there for the X, Y's and Z's. Reason you need to do this is that it can cause you some strange animations and gimbal lock on the joints if your individual joint orientations are not all facing in the same direction. So what I mean by that is, if you go into your skeleton, right now I am in object mode, so if I click over here to component mode, you can see if you have the question mark selected on, you can see that I've got each one of my joints is actually, this is kind of strange, each one of my joints is facing with the Y to the left, which is kind of odd, and the X is facing up. I at least have expected the Y's to be facing up and the X to the left or the right. Well, no worries. What we can do is I'm going to say skeleton, orient joint options, and then I'm going to go back to object mode, and I'm going to say edit reset settings, and I want my primary to be X, which is I want to face each X axis for each joint. I want to be facing down the center of each joint, and the Y's to be relatively the same direction facing up. What I've got is I've got the primary is X, secondary is Y. And if I do apply and then switch back to component and then question mark, you can see that what's happened is my Y's are now facing relatively up. And obviously they're facing up in the direction of the axis, and the X is now facing down every one of the axes for the joints, with the exception of the fingers and toes, which is kind of just pointed off because obviously they've got no other joint to connect to. So once you have that, I'm going to just close this, come out of component, sorry, go back to object, and I'm going to do a file save, and I'm now ready to think about putting in my IK system. So first thing I want to do is let's just have a look at these joints. Now for this ship, my backstory for this ship is that it probably would be a low-level flight attack ship, which would probably fight air-to-air as well as come in as strafe ground units. The claws would allow it to move along the ground as well as attack in the air. Obviously, if I'm going to have any weapons, they'd be probably strapped to the undercarriage of the wing, or maybe some concealed gun turret or something like that. But what I'm thinking is the extent of the design in that the legs are, let's just press number 6, you can see what I mean. These grey areas would be the animated limb joints, like your elbow, your shoulder and your wrist, or actually this would be the elbow and the wrist and the knee and the ankle. They're going to allow some degree of animation, some degree of movement, but I'm thinking a maximum extent, the red parts would not extend past what they would for a normal wrist or an elbow. So we can see that some of the animation, the extents might be maybe 90 degrees. You might see some go to 180, but no further. So that actually limits how much movement I can have. So what I'm thinking is, if I have a control system that allows me to extend this limb here and compress it, I can actually put in an IK system which would act like a Z. So it's almost be like a spring. So let's just give it a try. So if I say skeleton, IK handle tool options, I'm thinking for this one an IKRP solver, so I can leave it as IKRP. I'm not going to work with sticky or auto priority, I'm just going to put it in as is. So to use any IK, you need to click on your beginning and your end joints. So the beginning joint is the hip, so if I click once there, and I'm going to try for my first attempt. There you go. Now let's put the IK in, but I actually cannot see the control. It's very, very tiny. So what I'm going to do is come over to modify and say, actually not modify, sorry, display, say animation IK handle size. Let's just push that up to 10. And there it is, it's now nice and big. And if I just click on it and hit W, I move it down, you can see it's allowing me a fair degree of movement. And obviously the good thing is I've already got an indicated direction with this reverse knee, so my IK will not allow my joint to bend past it being fully extended. And you can see it goes up pretty high. Just going to unzip that. But I'm actually going to try, I'm going to just undo that. Let's just select that and delete that IK handle. Let's see if I can extend it right down to the toe. So again, you can do repeat last command. I'm going to click once there, once on the toe. There's my new IK handle. Let's hit W, select it, see how that works. Yeah, it's kind of giving me some extension there between the ankle and the toe, but not a lot of control over what's going on here at the knee. So what I'm going to do is do that. I'm going to put in an IK handle from the hip to the ankle, and then put in another IK handle just control the ankle to the toe. So what I can do is last command, click on the hip, click on the ankle. That gives me the first system of control, which is an IK handle controlling the ankle and the knee. And now I'm going to say skeleton, IK handle two options. I'm going to switch over from IKRP to IKSC, which is a scale solver, and I'm going to click once on the elbow, so once on the ankle, once on the toe. And that gives me a nice little controller there. Hit W. So I've got some control on that one. I've got some control on this one there. So a little bit more control. And what I will do is do the same for the other leg. So I'm just going to hide that. There we go. Skeleton, IK handle two options. IK RP and do the hip to the ankle. Last command, and this time say IKSC and do zoom in so we get this. The ankle to the knee. Okay. So I've got two controllers in there for the rear, and for the front two limbs. Let's do last command again. And this one I think I could get away with 1, 2, 3. I might be able to get away with just the IKRP. Let's give that a try. IKRP. 1, 2. Let's hit W, see if we can move it. No, so we kind of get an extend, but again we don't get a lot of control. So let's try it again. Last command, IKRP, and we're going to do shoulder to wrist. Let's do the other one at the same time while I'm doing it. Last command, shoulder to wrist, and then let's switch over to IKSC and do wrist to finger, and last command again, wrist to finger. And there we go. We have our IK handle systems in place. I'm just going to do a save. And now I'm ready to put in some rudimentary controllers that I can actually animate with, which will just allow me not having to click on the IK handles directly. Okay, so I'll just get that set up for you.